Okay. So far, you have only solved equations that have one solution. You solve it, and you find out exactly what that variable is. But not all equations have just one solution. So let's talk about the different types of solutions that you can run into. Okay. The first type of solution that you're going to run into is the ones that we've been dealing with this whole time, which is the ones that have one solution. So you find that x is equal to -5. -5 is your solution, you know? You're finding one number that satisfies that equation. Another type of solution that you're going to find is infinitely many solutions. So any number can make that equation true. And we'll get to it in a minute, but when you're solving these, what happens is you end up having the same thing on both sides of the equation. I just want to put that little note in there to help you, okay? The last kind of solution is no solution at all, okay? It's where there is not a single number out there that will satisfy the equation. Okay, so no solution, when you're solving this, what you're going to see is that when you get it down to hardly anything left, that the sides won't be equal. Okay, so those are the three situations you're going to run into. More often than not, there will be a solution, but sometimes you will run into cases where there are infinitely many solutions or no solution at all. So, yes?
Are there more solutions on this that we can talk about?
No. Well, I mean, eventually, if you guys continue on with math, you're going to run into like imaginary numbers and things like that. But you won't do anything like that for years, so we will just assume that there's only three types of solutions. Irvin, did you have a question, or are you just playing with your pencil?
No.
You're good? Okay. Let's take a look at an example so we can see how this works. Okay. So here's our equation, and I'm going to go through and start simplifying it. What's our first step? Distribute. Awesome. 24x plus 20 plus 1 is equal to 24x plus 21. You can probably already see it. You see it? Both those sides are the same, okay? And I can keep simplifying to show you. But already, what do you guys think? How many solutions do you think there's going to be? Infinite, good. Okay, so when I combine like terms here, now it's really clear. That is exactly the same thing, which means you could put in anything for x, and it would be true. So if I plugged in 0, both sides would be equal to 21. If I plugged in 1,000,000, both sides would be equal. So it's any solution. You can plug in anything, and it would be true. Now, if for some reason you're at this point and you're still not sure, or you're not paying attention to realize that both sides are equal to each other already, you could keep solving it. And I'll show you what happens when you do that. Okay, at this point I want to move my variables over, and when I try to move my variables over, the variables cancel out. Both sets of variables. And what you end up with is 21 is equal to 21. Okay, and since both of these are equal to each other, both sides are equal, that's infinitely many solutions. Okay. When you type it into the answer checker, I want you to type it just like this. Or don't spell it wrong like I was just about to do. Infinite solutions. I also put it on the answer checker on the top, so you can literally copy and paste it over if you want. So make sure there's no space before infinite and no space after solutions, but exactly one space in the middle. Okay? That has infinite solutions. Okay, let's take a look at a situation where there are no solutions. I want you to see what this looks like. Okay. So our first step, these do look very similar, but let's just make sure we know what's happening here. We're going to distribute. So this will become 2 plus 2x is equal to 2x minus 2. Again, they're still looking pretty similar. So if I want to be doubly sure of my solution, I'm going to keep solving. So I'm going to move all my variables to one side of the equal sign. And when I do that, you can see that this cancels out and this cancels out. That's a classic trait of infinitely many solutions or no solutions. If your variables completely cancel out, you know it's one of those two. And what I'm left with is 2 and negative 2. Is 2 equal to negative 2? No. So in that case, it doesn't matter what you were to plug in for x. Nothing could make that equation true. Yes?
There is one thing, if they had the absolute sign.
Like if you change the equation to have absolute value?
Yeah.
Yeah. If we changed it, we could. But we're not. If it's just the way that it is, we can see that there is no solution. And that's exactly how I want you to write that in the answer checker. Okay. Now you're going to find that for your assignment today, there are quite a few that have infinitely many solutions or no solutions, but you're also going to have some that are traditional one solution problems. So if you get that, if you're doing a question and you find that x is equal to negative 5, type in negative 5 into the answer checker. So you're either going to type infinite solutions, no solution, or just the solution if you get a solution. Okay? I also want to make you super aware, sometimes when people get 0 as a solution, they think that means no solution. But that's not true. Your solution is 0. 0 is what makes that equation true. Okay, so just don't get confused with that. Remember, if you get that your variable is equal to 0, that's what it's equal to. That is your solution. Any questions for me, you guys? All right, I'll give you some time to get that homework done in class. I am going to collect it tomorrow, so make sure you show your work. You only have to check your answers on the ones that have one solution.
Oh, I get the question.